Hey guys, so I was contemplating whether I was going to do this YouTube video or not. My health is not the best right now. I don't feel well at all. Obviously, I'm in the bed. Obviously, my hair is all over the place. No lashes, no makeup. I still have my bonnet on top of my head and all of the above. So, with that being said, I just have been back and forth about doing this YouTube video, but I feel like it needs to be done because a lot of people do not understand. I feel like I've been overly nice to people for the last year and a half, so people kind of are expecting me to still be at the same pace that I was when I first started. Um, People are really not understanding the words "I'm not helping right now." Like, they're not understanding what that means. I'm not helping right now because I have to focus on myself, which means no inboxes, no questions, no anything is being answered at this point. So, commenting on my YouTube videos, you need to go through my videos and watch them. People say, well, I can't find your Facebook page because I deactivated it for the reason being I'm not helping. Like, people are not understanding that I had my messenger on my phone and people were blowing me up. And it's getting to the point where mentally it is breaking me. And I understand deeper now why people who get negative don't say anything. Because people who are positive have a way of overwhelming somebody that is negative. It's like when people see somebody that's negative, they automatically swarm in on them and say, "What did you do?" When it's like you have like billions of people that's in your face asking you the same question, and then you as one person is just like, "This is too much. This is too much." People don't understand I'm one person. There are so many herbalists out here that can help. The information is out here, but you have to research. How do you think I got to my negative? Do you think I got to my negative by blowing everybody up? I did not. I took the initiative to research. I took the initiative to get some herbalist books. I took the initiative to research herbs. I took the initiative to research things. That is how I got to the point that I'm at now. I was not lazy. You cannot be lazy. Laziness is always inboxing somebody, "What did you do?" And I'm going to keep saying this, and I've said this a billion times. Everybody's body chemistry is different when it comes to this disease. Everybody's reacts differently to the disease. I don't have the same genetic makeup. If you're a different race than me, if you study genetics, genetics will tell you in each race there is some type of deficiency in each race. This is why there are certain diseases that are prone in certain races versus others. So with that being said, you have different deficiencies than I do. Also, if you have other diseases, that's going to also play a part into how HSV affects you. You have to research everything. You know what I mean? And it's only so much me as a herbalist can tell you. Herbalists can give you the tools. They can give you the information, but it's you that has to do it. If something doesn't work for you, all I can do is give you another method to try. Some of y'all get so butthurt when your test results are not what you want it to be. I keep telling people this is not an easy disease to eradicate in any form. I had to start over 3 times. 3 times for me to get my negative. 3 times I had to start over. I didn't get discouraged in myself when one time it didn't work, because number one thing that is the worst thing you could do when you have HSV is to stress. Stress will feed the virus quicker than food will. Like, I keep telling people that stressing over that negative, you're never going to get there, because if you keep stressing, that's going to send your levels up. Doctors even tell you that stress feeds the virus, but y'all don't listen. Y'all don't listen to anything that I really have told y'all. Like, I will get messages from people telling me, well, what does colloidal silver do? Or what is oregano oil taken for? Or where am I supposed to put the oregano oil? When it's in my YouTube video. I did an update quite a few times. You need to go through my page and watch them. I gave all the information pretty much out. Even with my Facebook, I had a health group. I posted herpes cure, different methods, different things to try. The Dr. CB method. I also tagged Kareem's videos. I've tagged Yaki's videos, and people will still come to me like, what do I do? Like, are you not going through the page to watch or see anything? You just know what you're doing is being lazy and coming to me and expecting me to spoon feed you. I told everybody from Jump Street that was a hell no. I don't spoon feed anybody. And if this comes off as brash, I'm a very brash herbalist because I'm a very honest one. Y'all are not going to mentally break me to the point where I'm going out of my mind crazy trying to help you. It's not mentally, I'm not going to be mentally broken by anybody. I refuse. If I tell y'all I need a break, stop messaging me. Stop calling me. Stop blowing up my phone. Stop any of it. Because all that's going to do is further make me worse in my health issues, and it's going to take me longer to come back to be able to help you. So if y'all want to keep stressing me out with my health issues, the longer this is going to take. The longer this is going to take. It's not going to be done quickly. I've given everybody the tools. Y'all asked me what I did. I've said what I did a billion times, and people still sit there and look dumbfounded like, that's all you did? Yeah, that's what worked for me. You may not be the same way. People see their numbers jump, and they expect for me to tell them what they did wrong. Well, first of all, you're going to have to go through the whole process with me. Step A to step B. Step A to Z from the beginning, and tell me what you did. Every single day, every single hour, down to the nitty gritty. And even then, I still may not be able to tell you exactly what you did wrong off of the simple string. It could be your body chemistry. Maybe one of the options that I gave you doesn't work for your body chemistry. And I've told people, test it out. If it's not working for you, change it. I've gave people multiple options of things to try. I don't know which one is going to work for you. I have no clue. It is trial and error. Any herbalist that's got to a negative, they've talked to an herbalist, they got the information, they got the full-fledged diet guide, they got everything that they were on, but sometimes it just doesn't work for your body chemistry, so you got to go choose a different plan. Like James Hill diseases works for some people. That wasn't one that worked for me. I had to mix Dr. CB, Kareem's, and Yaki's all together to make my own. That's what ultimately worked for me. But I had to watch several videos. I had to notate several notes. I notated each day what I did. So when I went and got tested, I had to go through. I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is not working for me. Well, when I was eating this would cause me to tingle. So let me not eat that. Like, I pretty much had to eat the same foods over and over and over again because I just had to stick with what worked for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, y'all expect for me to wave a magic wand and make it disappear. This is unfortunately a downside to having HSV. I'm sorry, whatever way you have received it. I apologize on behalf of whoever you got it from. I'm going to apologize on their behalf. If you've never gotten an apology, if your health got compromised because you slept with someone that didn't tell you, I'm sorry. If you got it from birth, I'm sorry. But this is the unfortunate part about HSV. It is transmitted so easily and so many people have it. But I can't wave a magic wand and say, here's a 7-day pill, it's gone. The Western medical community have been telling you for years it's not curable. The reason why they want to say that is because to figure out a cure for herpes is so hard. It's harder than they want to do. Some scientists are still trying to figure out a cure, but they cannot figure it out because it's so complex of a disease. Some of them are willing to take the risk and the struggle and the stress to figure it out. Some doctors give up. Some researchers give up because it's so complex. Even down to doing it naturally is complex because everybody's different. Y'all have to understand that. Like, that's why there's multiple medications for gonorrhea, chlamydia. There's multiple medications for UTIs because everybody's different. Some things are not going to work for you. That's even in medicine. So it's like, for y'all to not understand that, it's like, it blows my mind. Y'all blow me up when y'all test results spike. But then you won't tell me that you cheated for a week. I'm sorry, but if you are not going to be completely honest with me, how can I tell you what you did? How can I do that? I can't. It's impossible. And then I tell people I need a break, and then people are like acting like, are you done yet? Are you finished? I need your help. I'm sorry that I'm not gonna sacrifice my health, myself, for you. I'm not doing it. Like, it's not, I'm not trying to be funny, and I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't care about nobody more than I care about myself. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you shouldn't. Just like if your health was getting sacrificed, you're not gonna sit there, you're on your deathbed, and a job is like, are you coming into work today? Guess what you're gonna be telling them? You're gonna be kiss my ass. That's what you're gonna tell them. Kiss my ass. Because I'm on my deathbed. I'm not concerned about coming to work right now when I'm dying. You're gonna be more concerned about yourself. Like I told my Facebook family, I might be facing a possible surgery. That's where my mindset is. My mindset is not on your HSV status. I'm sorry. I have more important stuff to worry about right now. Way more important stuff to worry about right now. People act like my herbalist job is my whole entire life. It is not. It's not. It's not. This is something I do when I have time. Off of the simple strength, I have a job, I'm still in school, and I'm a parent. I don't have time to listen to you weep and cry all day about your status. My job is to give you the information and the tools to take it and make yourself negative. I'm not a therapist. My job is not to listen to you and your emotions all day and you to cry to me because it didn't work. That's not my responsibility. Y'all be making stuff my responsibility. That's not my responsibility. I'm even having a headache right now doing this because people have tried to stress me out beyond compare. My skin is dulling. Like, I don't even look as good as I did a couple months ago because people want to stress me out so bad. This is why a lot of people just stop doing herbal stuff, because people push you to the point where you don't want to do it anymore. It becomes stressful versus I really want to help. It becomes swarmed in. Like I told people on Facebook when I first started this, I used to get anywhere from 15 to 30 DMs a day. When I first posted my status and I first posted I was negative, I started getting DMs out the wazoo, like back to back to back to back to back to back. And then I'm sitting here looking at 15 to 30 DMs a day in mixture with my friends, in mixture with people that I was already helping previously before I really released the information. It became every day. Then my people were doing the same thing. Then people kept blowing me up. And then it's like, I have so many people here. You can't possibly think I can help everybody. People are like, well, please help me. You are one of many that say the same exact thing. That's not going to make me rush to help you because you say, please help me. If I already am dealing with 10 people to help right now, you have to wait, or you have to go to somebody else to help you, or you need to just sit there and watch different videos, correlate your own plan, and take initiative yourself. Please. I get tired. I really get fed up with people in the DMs of what is oregano oil for? Where is your research at? Because you should not be asking me that question. What am I supposed to eat? I said a vegan, alkaline-based diet, fruits and vegetables. Like, why am I still getting that question when I mentioned what diet you're supposed to be on in my last two videos? I said the Dr. Sebi diet. If you went and correlated and did the research on what the Dr. Sebi diet was, he gives you a formulated food layout of what you're supposed to eat. Then why are you asking me what you're supposed to eat? Why are you asking me what milk you can use? When on the diet guide, it tells you what grains you could use. It says like hemp seed. Then obviously you know you need to be using hemp seed milk. If Dr. Sebi advocates against almonds, cashews or any nuts like that, then why the heck do you think you could drink that milk? It's common sense, and people are lacking common sense. Like, if Dr. Sebi says no almonds, why the heck do you think you could drink almond milk? Why would you ask me that question? That's common sense. Almond milk is based out of almonds. If that is a no-go, then you know you cannot take that. Why are you asking me? Come on now. Like, y'all be asking me common sense based questions, and I just be looking like, why? And then that's what my DM gets blown up. It's never almost always recommendations. It's most of the time people asking me questions that I've already said. Because I know people are not watching my videos. They're not watching the information. They're not doing anything full-fledged for themselves. They just wait on me to answer the question. No. Now, what would you do if I stopped answering DMs? How would you do it? Would you give up and say, I can't cure my HSV? Or would you keep going or go to another herbalist video and watch? You will watch. Like at my last video, I said I wasn't helping anybody. So, yes, I took my Facebook down. Because if I'm not helping, then why would my Facebook still be up? Because guess what that's going to make people do? Message me and ask me questions that I'm not going to answer. And then people are like, well, please answer, please answer. Then all my DMs are going to be full of is people that want to keep saying the same thing. And all that's going to make me do is get irritated. That's just going to irritate me. That's all it's going to do is irritate me. Then for 2, y'all blow me up with questions when I already said, if you have full-fledged questions about in-depth things, you're going to book a consultation. I charge. I no longer do stuff for free. I said that videos ago. You want a consultation with me? I told people, once my Facebook is back up and I'm taking consultations again, by all golly means, you can inbox me. But you're on pause right now. I'm not killing myself to help you. I'm not. I'm just not. Like, I have stuff going on with my health that I have to resolve. That I feel sick right now. I'm going through right now currently a detox from my reproductive system. So you can just imagine how I feel. It's like I detox HSV, but then I have another health issue that I have to detox. So at the end of the day, I got over HSV, but I'm going through my own detox right now. So I'm obviously weak by myself. I'm obviously got headaches. I'm obviously going through pain myself. So do you really think I can mentally help you right now? No, I cannot. I cannot. In addition to me having to deal with my life, I can't help you. Okay. I just don't know what other way I could put it. Like, it's just, the information is there. You have to be willing to put it out there. You got to search. You have to. Like, I have people that I've talked to one time, and they got to a negative months later. They've only had to talk to me one time because they took the initiative. They researched. They done what they needed to do. Like, they might have inboxed me from time to time, like, okay, Ray, I don't understand exactly what this means. What is this saying? I said, that means this, that, and the fourth. They'd be like, okay, I got it from here on out. Thank you. That's what I mean by taking the initiative and questioning and inboxing me questions. Is questions about things that you've researched yourself and you might be stumbled upon or stumbled on. If you can't figure out the formulated plan, then that's a consultation that you got to book with me. For me to give you a full layout of what you need to take or what you need to do, I can give you a guideline to follow, but that doesn't mean it's going to work. I never said that my plan is going to work for everybody. I said it's trial and error. My plan works for some people. It doesn't work for others. Some people can't take lysine because they have other health issues that cause them prevention from taking lysine. Some people can't take vitamin C because they got another deficiency that causes them issues with taking vitamin C. So you have to know what your genetic makeup is. I don't know that. That's why I always tell people, know your medical history before you come talk to me. A lot of people's like, well, you need to know that. I'm like, You trying to cure a disease, and you don't think I need to know what your medical history is? Crazy, right? It's just people just really like, oh man, mm-mm. People really just don't take the initiative to do what they need to do, and it's so mind-boggling and mind-blowing because I'm like, why are you not trying yourself? Why? 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 Yaquis videos are so thorough. He breaks it down to a cellular level, and people still like don't get it. And I'm like, were you not in biology? Did you not research? Like, did you not pay attention? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me because I can get stuff and figure it out. But some people, I really struggle with helping them because they ask me questions that they should already know the answer to because it was stuff that you learned in school. I'm like, so what is the mitochondria? What does it do? I don't know. How do you not know that? How did you pass? How did you pass biology and not know what mitochondria is? How do you not know what the nucleus in a cell does? You took biology. How do you not know the answer to that question? And look it up on Google. People are like, well, I don't know how many bones we have in our body. I don't know this. I don't know. Why do you don't know that? Did you not take anatomy and physiology? Like, this is stuff that we learned in school. People get mad at me because they want to rush HSV. A lot of people come to me when they get HSV in a way that is their fault. And they get mad when I tell them, this is your fault. I don't try to victim blame, but I really didn't, like, in my situation, I really can't consider myself a victim because at the end of the day, this is my story. A lot of people don't know my story, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I contracted HSV from a partner that I was dealing with on and off for 6 years. Emphasis on and off. I should have known better. His sexual history was shown to me several times, and I didn't take heed. So what? Am I really a victim because I allowed myself to be put in a situation? I allowed myself to be put in a situation with a dude that compromised my health, but he shown me that he wasn't crap well before that point. I allowed myself to get suckered in because of my emotions and my feelings, which is my fault. Knew better. And wasn't going to stop messing around. He kept bouncing back and forth. He kept doing this, that, and the fourth. And I still would stay and deal with it. That's my fault that I didn't realize my self-worth and I didn't realize my self-love to walk away. I had a feeling not to lay down with him when I did. I had found out May of 2018 that he was messing with a girl. And I did ultimately leave him alone at that point, right? However, during that period of time, weeks later, I found out that I was pregnant. So I had to contact him and let him know. The guy was a narcissistic individual. Did I know that at the time? No, I did not. If you've ever dated a narcissist, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, came back and was like, I want to work on things. I want to do this. I want to do that. But my mental was telling me, do not do this because he's shown you several times he's not going to be faithful. He's shown you several times he's not going to stay committed into the relationship with you, and he's not going to treat you like the woman you deserve to be treated. But I still went back to him anyway. So we started working on things, and it was probably like August when things really got back to normal, but I still hadn't slept with him yet. It wasn't until September. I slept with him twice. Anybody that's been pregnant before knows how his pregnancy goes. Hit or miss. You go in pain. Sometimes you feel like having sex. Sometimes you don't. I pretty much had sex with him twice. Once in the middle of the month and once towards the end of the month. Of course, it was unprotected. My fault, because knowing his history, I should have been making sure that I was protected, especially knowing that I was pregnant. I didn't protect myself. That is my fault. And I want to say after the second time I had sex with him, days later, I started feeling the symptoms of HSV. Flu-like symptoms, but at first I didn't initiate it with flu because I was pregnant at the time. So I was confusing the symptoms of both. Like I was thinking maybe I'm just nauseated. Maybe I just don't feel well. Maybe this is morning sickness. Maybe I just don't feel good. So I was chopping the symptoms up as pregnancy symptoms at first until I got the blister down below that was so painful and it just wasn't going away. At first I thought, well, maybe I was having a yeast infection at first, or maybe I was having like a UTI. When I was taking all of my, I had some leftover UTI medicine. I had some leftover yeast infection medicine that my doctor had given me from before, because I had dealt with UTIs and yeast infections in each pregnancy, both times. I have a daughter, and then I was pregnant with my son. And I took it, and it wasn't working. So with that being said, I had to go back to the doctor's office. It was time for me to have my checkup anyway. So I went and called the doctor's office. I told them what was going on with me. So they brought me in immediately. I was supposed to have a doctor's appointment like days later, but it was like, no, you need to come in today. She said, what does it look like? What's your discharge? And they asked me the symptoms. They was like, no, you need to come in today. We need to see what's going on with you. So I went into my OBGYN office. They opened my legs, and she told me this looks like HSV because of the spot. And she said, I've seen it several times. She said, can you tell me what has happened? What's going on? I told her, well, I had sex with my child's father twice. She said, when did you have sex with him? I said, about 2 weeks ago, and then maybe about 5-6 days before this doctor's appointment. She was like, you unprotected? I said, yes, ma'am. She was like, well, I can't tell you exactly if it is HSV, but I will tell you that we can send a test off, but it looks like it. So she had already started me on the antivirals immediately with the situation that I was in. Obviously, when you are pregnant, they give you antivirals that you have to take. Like, they want you to take them. So she sent my testing off. I called him as soon as she told me that what she thought it was. And I was crying. I was upset. I said, what did you do to me? Like, what did you do? He's like, I didn't do anything. I just recently got tested. I don't have anything. What did they say you have? So that should have been like an inkling in my mind to know something. He knew something, because why would you ask me, what did I have? If you said you were clean of everything or cured of everything, you don't have anything, why are you asking me what did they say I have? I was being dumb at the time, listening to him. He's like, I wouldn't do you like any kind of way. I wouldn't put you in harm's way like that, when he has done it several times before. I should have known. Narcissistic people will lie in a heartbeat if they can. And he was like, well, I'm going to go get tested. I want you to come with me. I'll go schedule the appointment, and I want you to come with me. I said, cool, fine. Felt like he was taking the initiative. Got my test results 3 days later. Came back for positive for HSV. They just didn't know my type at the time. They did a PCR test, and they also ran a blood test on me. My IgM and IgG was both negative. So she had knew that it was a new infection and how I got newly diagnosed, because she said IgM is usually the antibody that first takes over your system within the first 2 weeks. She said you're negative for IgM and you're negative for IgG. So with that being said is, you just recently got infected, because had I been infected previously before, and I had been tested for herpes quite a few times. With my first pregnancy, I always asked for a full panel test. I make doctors test me. I had always made doctors test me, and I was a person that got tested consistently. And then when I found out I was pregnant, of course they ran tests. And then of course they ran tests months later after that, because I always wanted to make sure that when I found out he was messing with that girl in May, I wanted to be sure that I didn't really have anything going on with me. And I tested negative for everything then too. including HSV1 and HSV2. So I knew that I was newly infected, and this had to have came from him. It was no other way. Of course, I went back and had everybody that I ever slept with, which my body count is substantially low, so it wasn't many people I had to go talk to. They were understanding, and they gave me their test results, their most consistent ones from the last 6 months, and none of them had anything. Remember I said he was supposed to go to the doctor's office to get tested. That day never came. He never went. When I called him and I asked him to come and get me for me to go with him to get tested, it was an excuse. So I definitely knew then. I said, you did this. You did this, and you knew you did it. And you did it to me while I was pregnant by you. So my story is a lot sadder than most people's, but I don't want anybody to feel pity for me. But that is the true fact of the matter, what happened to me. And initially how I contracted HSV, I contracted when I was pregnant. So the reason why it really took me 8 months is because when I was pregnant half the time, I couldn't full-fledged take supplements and everything that I needed to take that were detoxing, because it would cause me to contract. It could cause me to go into labor early. So I just ate the fruits and vegetables, did things I was supposed to do. It brought my levels down some, but of course they would fluctuate. Ultimately, February of 2019, I lost my son. Had his stillborn. He did not make it for multiple reasons, but that's the most detrimental part, that I lost. But ultimately, I had to realize that maybe I lost him because of the situation I was in, and I believe in God heavily. So I felt like I wasn't paying for my mistakes. I felt like God was just saying, this is not the right situation. You're going to go through more chaos and more drama than you need to, and I don't want you going through it with this guy. And I had found out, months. He was dibbling and dabbling into the gay lifestyle. He was talking to transgender people. Found out he was sleeping with several girls unprotected. I found out a whole lot of stuff about him. I found out he had other girls pregnant aside from me. It was a lot of stuff that I found out that he was doing behind my back that I didn't even know at the time. But that's what happens when you deal with narcissistic individuals. It's a very chaotic lifestyle. And they'll make you feel like you're the perfect one, you're the only one, but it's really never ever only you. It's never only you. I don't care what they tell you, it's never only you. And when you find out about a girl or a guy, it's always more than just that girl and guy. It's always more than just that one person. So initially, it was a big shock, depressed, stressed. I felt like stress was another major cause of why my son just didn't make it. It was stress. And then my body was going in a haywire. How HSV affected me, I kept having outbreaks. That was my negative. Like, I just kept having outbreaks at first, back to back. One would start before another one would end. So I was always in some type of pain. And the antivirals ultimately just made me sick. It's like I couldn't really take them. Like, they just made me sick. I would throw them right back up. Every time I take them, throw them right back up. They come right back up like it was nothing. So, this is what I mean by you need to protect yourself at all times. You can't blame someone when you put yourself in a position for them to ruin you, because ultimately you are responsible for your sexual health. You need to be using condoms with everyone. You need to get everyone tested. I don't care if you're in a relationship. I don't care how much you love this person. I don't care how much you feel like you know them. You never know somebody 100%. And you can never be around somebody 100% hours of the day. So, with that being said, you always need to protect yourself. Trusting someone is a catch-22, because you could think you could trust a person all day, and you'll find out they'll backstab you in a heartbeat, because we're humans. We're not perfect people. I'm not saying every man cheats. I'm not saying every woman cheats. But it's the risk that is there that they could cheat on you. So you need to always protect yourself. Get tested. But there's still a risk that you could possibly catch it with condom use. That's just the unfortunate fact. But I tell people anytime, if you didn't get someone tested, you didn't take precautions for your sexual health, then you can't full-fledged put the blame on them, because you had a responsibility and duty to yourself that you didn't handle. The situation might have went differently had you had them tested and found out that he had HSV. You might have been more cautious with how you dealt with them. But if you just lay down with somebody, like I had people that would come to me, like I slept with one person one night. I know it was stupid. I know it was dumb. I didn't use condoms and now I have HSV. A person that takes the initiative to accept their part of the situation, I can deal with. But the people that are in denial about where they went wrong, I don't know if I so much can help them, because it's like acceptance is a big part of how you get to the status of a negative. Because if you're stressing about how you got it, you still bargaining and dealing with depression because you have this, you're never going to be able to really get to the point of a negative, because you're still going to feed the virus, even though you're not eating anything, even though you're not feeding it by food, you're feeding it through your body and your mind. Herpes is a big mental disease. A lot of people prevent themselves from having outbreaks by having a positive mental. A lot of people, key culprit in why they have outbreaks is stress. When you don't deal with stress, you can keep your mouth outbreak to a minimum. Trust me. Several people do it. They stop having so many outbreaks when they stop stressing so much. It even decreases how many outbreaks they have. It may not completely get rid of them, but it decreases it a great deal. So I tell people all the time, it's like you have to stay focused on doing that. Like you have to stay focused on being positive, sweetheart. You have to. You have to. Oh, my head's thumping. So at first, when I found out, I dealt with it for months. It took me a while to accept it, but I learned to accept it pretty quickly, because I was a person that always learned to accept my choices and things. And I accepted the fact that I had a part in doing that to myself, because I had a feeling and an inkling not to sleep with him. And I did it anyway. So whose fault is that? Mine. Because he showed me who he was, and I still didn't leave him alone. So it was no longer his fault. It was mine. And I dealt with my status. I dealt with myself. And initially, I decided that this was the right thing to do. I went live on Facebook one day and told my story. And I did mention who he was. I mentioned who the person was that did it to me. Was I hurt at the time? Yes, but I didn't mention his name because I was bitter, upset, or mad. I mentioned his name because I knew what type of person he was. And I knew he probably had done this to someone else, not just me. And I knew he was going to continue to do it. So in my mind, I wanted to protect another woman from having this happen to them. I did not want another person to be responsible for having to go through a depressing period because of their health being compromised. A lot of people, I got half and half. Some people felt like I was wrong because I mentioned his name. Some people felt I was wrong because I put him out. A lot of people respected me for it, though, too, because they were like, that takes a lot of bravery to come outward and say that you have something like that and to protect other people. And they said a lot of people that feel bad or mad that you said something are people that probably would have done that themselves and not told nobody. So you get my respect. You get my utmost respect, because at the end of the day, that's hard to do. It's to stand for it and say, HSV, I've contracted it. I've dealt with it, this, that, and the fourth. And I told people the story about how I lost my son, and then it was mismatch. Well, girls said you wasn't pregnant by him, and you wasn't this, and you wasn't that. But like I've showed several people, I was like, well, I told him to come get the paperwork days ago. His mom was like, well, do this, that, and the fourth. And I was like, your son had a child with me. I'm not about to go back and forth with the whole entire family when, if y'all want the information, especially when I'm dealing with depression and I'm dealing with the loss of him, I don't want to sit there and talk about him when I'm not ready to. You know what I'm saying? And I texted her and told her what happened while I was in the hospital. The simple strength, the reason why I didn't call her and I texted her was because I was crushed. And I wasn't mentally able to deal with actually talking to her about it. And she didn't understand that. She attacked me and said it was my fault. You shouldn't have did this. You shouldn't have did that. And that made me not want to talk to her at all. Like, it made me not even want to confide and speak to her because she blamed me the whole time. She never blamed her son for anything. It was always my fault. But I started to realize, well, maybe he got raised by a narcissistic ass mama. So that's why she has that mentality. And I was like, I probably don't want to be, I shouldn't have been wanting to be involved in this situation anyway. In the slightest bit. It just is a really crazy, sad situation. And it is what it is. So, I just ultimately like tell people every day, protect yourself. I got attacked a lot when I came out with the story. My live hit like 8.5K for people watching my story at first. And that's ultimately what got me started with helping people, is my situation. How detrimental HSV could be to somebody. And with researching and, with stumbling and talking to people, I realized it was curable. Because I started really learning the research and what HSV really was. And I'm like, this ain't got to be something you got to live with for the rest of your life. I was always a person that was very in tune with science in school. And I was also very in tune with health. So the two together, it was a positive that I just had that mindset already. And I was already going to school for something health-wise. So I knew a little bit about HSV. I knew a little bit about cures. I knew a little bit about homeopathy. A lot of my people in my family believe in that. I have an aunt that's a nurse, and I have family members all through medicine. So, like, with me, I was able to correlate a lot of stuff with a lot of help, of course, but most of it on my own. I had heard of Dr. CB before. I had heard of people saying that they cured their herpes before, but not many people. But I felt like the reason why most people were able to get it done because they were determined enough. So, initially, after I came out with the story and I told people, I did get the inboxes like I thought. He had infected multiple women before me. I wasn't the first one. I had found out that a girl he was in the military with, she was considered the first girl that was infected. And she told me, she was like, well, I told him back in 2012 that he did this to me, and he did the same thing that he said to you was the same thing he said to me. And I never got copies of his test results. So I'm like, well, how long could he have possibly had it? And the longer you have it, the less active it becomes. So I guess I just slept with him on one of the active days. And they say when a person, they have a reoccurring infection and it's HSV2, sometimes your activation period is only for 2 to 3 days. So if he didn't sleep with anybody else in that 2 to 3 days but just me, and then on that 4th or 5th day he slept with somebody else, they might not have gotten it. So I just was like, and most men are asymptomatic, meaning they don't have symptoms. So they have no clue when they're shedding. They have no idea. So it's easy for him to act like he don't have anything. But it still can be transferred through mucus, secretions and stuff. And one thing I remember is the second time I had sex with him, I felt a pain when I had sex with him. It was like a stinging sensation when I had sex. And my doctor was like, that typically will happen when the HSV is transmitting to you, is you'll feel a stinging. And I was just like, well, there that is. I figured out it was the second time we had sex, not the first. And it doesn't take any, it takes only 2. Some people have symptoms the next day, but usually 2 to 14 days is the incubation period of when you're newly diagnosed for you to get an outbreak. Mine's happened quick. So glad I had symptoms because, say, for example, I didn't. And I moved on. I'm not saying I always have unprotected sex with people. Not saying that I always do that. But say, for example, I had a boyfriend I fell in love with, and we got together and I had unprotected sex with him, and I would have HSV. That would have been a devastating situation. So I'm glad that I was a symptomatic person and I was able to find out. But for some people, they not so lucky, and they just pass it on. But that is my story of how I contracted HSV. Please don't give me alls and oh, I'm so sorry. Please don't do that. I don't like that. But that is my testimony. That's what I started out with. But now I'm negative. So it's like, it's just a hard part of life, but that got me to helping people. And then when people seen that it was possible to do, Whirlwind started Raye Talks. So here we are. The first year I was doing stuff for free. I was even helping people deal with their status at first. When I first started helping people and they inboxed me about questions about HSV, I was so knowledgeable on it because I spent so much time learning about it. When I first contracted it, I spent time learning about HSV. What is it? What does it do? How does it act? How does it get into your system? Where does it land at? I was a person that started doing the research, and I learned a lot about it. So I started educating people about herpes. I started educating people about STDs. At first, I became a person that was an activist, and I educated people on killing stigmas, and I started educating people on facts and not emotion or feelings about what the disease was. So then people started really hearing about me, like, oh, that's the girl that got herpes from her ex-partner, baby daddy, and she's telling people about STD. So a lot of people started adding me, tuning in, watching my lives when I would start talking about stuff, and they're like, you're brave. Like, you're knowledgeable, you're smart, you know a lot. I'm glad that you're a person that stood up and took a negative situation and turned around to a positive. Of course, people would talk crap about me too. I had that. She had herpes. But like my friends would tell me, most people that's laughing at you are people with it, but they don't want nobody to know. And that was a true fact. A lot of people from my city have it, and I help them. People that I know, friends of mine, came to me like, oh, I got it too. And I'm just kind of like, I realized how common it was. When doctors used to say 1 in 4, now it's 1 in 2. 1 in 2 people have some form of herpes. 1 in 2. It's very true. My head is thumping. Oh, my head is thumping. My gosh. My head is thumping. Taking a medication, I think, is probably what is making my head thump. But I started really educating people, and people started to develop to trust me through my education because they found out the facts. Well, I didn't know that. Okay, so that's not true. Oh, so you can catch it with a condom? Wow, I didn't know that. I started really educating people, and then ultimately, when I got my negative and I posted them results, people already knew about me. They heard about me. They knew who I was. And they knew what process I was doing. So after I started educating people, I was like, I found out that herpes is curable. People was looking at me dumbfounded, like, yeah, right. So I was like, what I'm willing to do is go through a process, show y'all how it's done. The good, bad, the ugly. And get to my negative so I can show you it's possible. So I let people really into my life through the process. And when I got my negative, people were like, oh, she did it. Oh my gosh, she did it. She really did it. Like, what the hell? You really did it? I said, I really did it. And they were like, you really did it. And they were looking at my test results like shocked, like dumbfounded. It's like, it's possible. It's possible. So then people start blowing up my DMs. I need to know what you did. I have it too. Can you help me? So then that started me on the method of herbal remedies and herbalist stuff. So then I came up with my Raye's nutritional guide. My guideline of what I did from start to finish. I had my notebook that was scribble scrabble that I had to condense down into a guideline. And once I did the guideline, people learned it, they shared it, they liked it, they seen it. Some people tried it, they got to a negative, and they sent me their test results. And then I started to post some people's test results that were comfortable, maybe 1 or 2 people. And then people really started to know that it was really curable because then I posted somebody else's test results. Then they were like, oh my gosh, she did it again. So that's a second person. Then it's a third person. Then I was helping somebody with HIV. Their levels came down. People would text me, Okay, I got to a negative. Thank you so much. This, that, and the fourth. So I would send it. I would screenshot, not without their information in it. They said you could post this, and people would share it and like it and say, "Wow, Raven, you're doing a good job." This, that, and the fourth. So then I started sliding into just. I started sliding into the herbal lifestyle without meaning to. I didn't even know it was called being an herbalist at first. I was just doing it, and people was like, "Dang, you really? What are you? What are you?" And I had to research what I was, and I started stumbling upon being an herbalist, and I was like, well, this is exactly kind of what I'm doing. So that's how I became an herbalist. That's my lifestyle. I became an herbalist through my mistake, my choicing. But yeah. So y'all think it's hard. People have harder stories than you. Trust me. I got kids that have been raped. I got kids that were molested. I got kids that were raped at 6 and got it that way. Like, people feel like because they had sex with somebody and their health got compromised that they're like the worst in the world. I'm like, there's kids out here that get raped at a young age and get the shit. Like, I got a girl that I was helping. She was 8 and she was raped by a family member, and that family member had HIV and herpes and gave it to her at the same time. So people's stories are far worse than probably yours. That you think your story is the worst, you're worse off. Your story gets worse. I'm glad HSV is livable. You can live with it if you decide to do suppressive therapy. HIV done got to the point where you can live with it, but you have to take medication. But HIV can still kill you. So at least you have HSV, something that is curable that you don't have to die from. That's a bright way to think about it. I know nobody wants it, but there's people with HSV and HIV. So think about the double whammy of a cure process that they have to go through. You think yours is hard, theirs is double as hard. So be grateful that you just have HSV. You could be far worse into a situation than you want to be. So keep your mindset positive, okay? But this is my story. I told everybody I'll eventually tell it, but this is my story. This is how I got started being Raye. This is how I got started helping people. This is how I got started. So this is the true factor. My son's ashes are actually in my closet. They've been up there since the beginning. I haven't taken them down. His paperwork is still in the closet all together. And I just don't touch it because I still deal with it emotionally every day sometimes. Sometimes I still break down even though it's been over a year and a half. I still do. It's a pain that I probably have to live with for the rest of my life, but I get it done. And if you ever lost a baby that way, I'm sorry. I know how you feel. But here we are. So I thank you guys for tuning in and watching. If you love me, you love my channel, you love what I represent, like, subscribe, and comment always. When I'm reactivated on Facebook, of course I will upload, but I feel like I need to do this. I need a little break, a little time, and explaining to people what I got going on a little bit. So glad. I'm sorry I look like crap. But I hope you guys have a blessed and remainder day. Remember, God loves you. God always loves you. And remember, we all make mistakes, but it's about how you fix those mistakes and changing that into a positive, okay? Remember that always. Negative to positive. Law of attraction. And remain positive in whatever aspect in life you are. Remember, there's a reasoning for everything happening. And remember, at the end of the road, it's always a positive to learn from it, okay? Bye.